I really want to explore the other side of weld repairs here. The reason being is a lot of people have recently reached out on their first, second, third, fourth weld repair and said, hey Justin, can you help me out with this? I'm really struggling with it. Now, despite my best efforts, I was never able to successfully reach through the other side of the internet and help them with their repair. Instead, I had to, unfortunately, explain to them that their parts were riddled with a whole bunch of reasons of why they should have declined the job. Now, these 70-year-old stainless steel parts are prime examples of reasons why you would want to decline a job. And I think they're going to demonstrate exactly what I'm talking about. I'm Justin. This is the Fabrication Series. Look at my expensive intro budget. Yay. Do that. Okay, not entirely sure how long this video is going to be. I do have to still call the grand prize winner of the Weld Metals Online Summer of Welding giveaway. I got to call them up, and at the end of the video, I've got some really cool announcements for you guys, especially if you're, die-hard long-term TFS fans. You've been knowing, I've been hiding some stuff, and I've been dying to friggin' get back in here and tell you what's going on, but we'll get to that. Now, these were originally manufactured for an airplane back in the 1950s, so they're like 70-something years old. Not exactly sure when they were made, but they're getting repurposed into a sandrail car now, so it's not going back in the air. I don't have to worry about that. If it was going into the air, I don't have certifications or licensing or anything like that for working on aircraft, so it would have been an automatic no matter what. If I knew it was going back into the air. But since I was told it's going in a sandrail, I can touch it, so I can work on it. But somebody else has tried to do this job before me, and they had less than spectacular results. And upon seeing that, I know that with their not very good results, and with the stuff that I'm going to lay down, there's going to be an extremely high probable rate of failure, and I really don't like taking people's money. So when I see these things that jump out at me, I usually just say, sorry, I'm not interested in the repair. Now, the three things that are screaming at me right now are those things that people often miss. The first is that this is all made out of stainless steel, or at least the magnet here, it doesn't stick to it. It's got to be stainless steel. It is an unknown grade, but it's stainless nonetheless. When it's an exhaust component like this is, stainless will go through a lot of cooling off and heating up and cooling off and heating up, something that we call heat cycling, right? The more you cycle or heat cycle a material, the more it heats up and cools down, the more difficult it becomes to work with. So 70 some odd years or 3/4 of a century of heat cycling is usually one of those things where you would know right off the get-go, be like, man, that's going to be tough. If you've never experienced that, take my word for it, it's not very easy to work with something that's been heat cycled. It's evidence that these are extremely oxidized, and you can see like the color is not supposed to be brown on stainless steel. This is literally like dark brown, almost black. So these are going to be a hassle to work with. This is also going to be a hassle to work with because it was sandblasted. Sandblasting is probably the worst possible way you can prep a part that is going to be weld repaired. The blasting media itself, aside from, when it breaks up, it will kind of impregnate itself into the material, but it also likes to hide in little crevices and little spots that if you're going to make a weld repair like I am here, around this flange, it's all cracked. I almost guarantee you there's going to be blasting media just shoved up onto the backside of it. So not being able to get that out means that when I go to weld it, it's probably going to want to combine and mix into the stainless itself, which means those materials don't belong together. They don't mix correctly, and it's probably going to crack like, I don't know, not too long after I actually fix it. So if I know it's going to fail for that, I would decline the job. And the third thing that I'm looking at here is this job was already attempted by somebody else. And I'm not dogging on anybody else's work, but you can tell that they don't really have the experience necessary to do a repair like this on stainless, for example, right? These repairs here, there was virtually no prep going into it. So I can see on the outside there is a sandblasted surface, and there was no brightening of the material. It looked like there was no attempt to clean it. And of course on the inside of it, it's very difficult to see, but there is a whole lot of sugaring going on the backside of that weld. I can also see it on top of this flange around here where they tried to piece it back together because it was like corroding away. There was no shielding, no prevention of oxidation on the back side of it, and again, there's virtually no prep. So if I have a part that somebody else attempted and it's going to basically make my work even worse, or it's going to make my work fail because their work had already failed, I will not take on the job. So you might be wondering, okay, if I wanted to decline this whole thing, like, why is it in front of me here? And the big reason is because I can talk about this stuff all day long, or I can demonstrate it to you, and the demonstration is probably going to help you out more. Now, I'm not touching anybody else's repair. I'm just going to go after a few of these sections in here that they requested that I do, and I agreed to do just those sections. So somebody else is going to have to deal with the other stuff. So I think that's all the script I've got. I've only got one shot to do these, so let's hope I get it right.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
We're going to try that again in a minute. Let's try again.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Well, they won. I'll try calling them back later, maybe. Okay, a little weird. Never thought this was going to happen. Wasn't sure what to do. Reached out to legal. They said it's in the official rules. If you don't answer the phone and you don't respond back, you forfeit your prize. So I said, okay, I need another name, somebody else to call, and hopefully they'll answer their phone. So one of two things is going to happen. I'm going to get another name, and they're going to answer their phone, or that person, the first person, is going to call back and realize that they missed several calls and call back, and then they're going to win. So whichever one happens first, that's who's going to win. So you might have a chance still at winning the Summer of Welding grand prize from Weld Metals Online, which is all those prime weld machines. But we're going to have to wait till next video because I don't want to hold this one up anymore. I've already shot a whole complete other episode and it's ready to go into editing, and I think that's fair. So you may still have a shot. We'll just have to wait and see on the next video. I'll do my best to keep you updated in the meantime. Okay, so we're going to start with these two here. Each one of these holes needs to be plugged. I'm not going to pump them full of argon and hope for the best. And the reason why is when you get argon flowing out of it and you're also trying to shield the top of it, it can cause turbulence and disturb it a little bit. So just a moment ago, I beat a piece of copper around a tube, and that should shield the back of it quite well, actually, and keep the oxidation off the back side of it. I might pump a little bit of argon through just because it doesn't have a perfect fit on it, but hey, you never know. I'm kind of excited for these things. This is not a plug, but I just bought these this morning, and a lot of people have been raving about them, so we're going to hope that maybe these cordless dealies will replace my air tools. But the outside obviously is extremely oxidized. You cannot weld to a surface like that. You need to try and get rid of it. I'm hoping this stainless wire wheel will be enough to buff this back to a bright metal. I guess we're just going to find out. What, did it die already? Okay, Milwaukee. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Was it a battery? Maybe it's the battery. This one is brand new. What the hell? Why does it keep doing that? Is it too much load for this thing? Okay, this is really annoying. Look, you see that full battery. Okay. Well, this one seems to work pretty well. So far, so good on this one. I don't know what the hell's up with that. It's brand spanking new. I get an idea. I had my doubts. I know you'll probably think this is staged, you die-hard Milwaukee guys. I use both brands, but that kind of makes me mad. Like I'm not sure why it's happening, but that tool was over 200 bucks. Okay, this one, let's see if we can actually get this kind of in the light here, but there are multiple layers of oxidation on top here that are getting hard to get through. This one, it got through most of them and should be okay, but these multiple layers here, man, that's just like layer upon layer upon layer. Let's see if we can really dig into it. I don't know. It's getting a little brighter. There's a lot of oxidation on here. Let's dig out the inside here. That looks pretty good. It probably doesn't translate on camera, but to get through all of this extreme oxidation, I have to push pretty hard, and that makes me worry that I'm really thinning out this material here, so yeah. I mean, we'll only know when we go to weld it, but I'm pushing pretty hard to get through that. There's some pretty heavy oxidation here. Okay, insides and outs, at least prepped up. Okay, so I just went to lunch and I had to look it up on that, you know, why that little doodle bop over there, that friggin' M12 was cutting out. I guess it's got a safety inside of it that says, oh, you're running it too hard, or I think in my case, that wire wheel I have is a little off balance, and I'm pretty sure that triggered it. So we'll give it another try. To be fair, you know, we gotta be thorough about this. Oh, and if you're in St. George, Utah, and you got some free McDonald's from a random Uber driver, that was me. I accidentally ordered McDonald's in St. George, even though I'm not in St. George. So yeah, you're welcome if that was you. Hope you liked it. So this is the old standard acetone treatment here. Just gonna go around with a Scotch-Brite real quick. And a little acetone just to make sure that everything is really clean. We want it to be as clean as humanly possible. So it means I'm gonna get the inside and the outside. I'm also gonna clean up this little piece of copper here. And that's just to make sure that no contaminants get on it or anything else like that. It's important. Yeah, see how much garbage is on there? Look at that. This is disgusting. Let's get this all cleaned up. Make sure it doesn't contaminate anything. Now this copper is going to replace purging. Normally you would fill up the part with argon, but as I mentioned before, if you have air trying to come out of that hole and you have gas trying to come out of that hole, in this case argon, and you have it trying to blast down on top of that could create a bit of turbulence, just the same as my fan back there is blowing on me. I gotta turn that thing off in just a moment. If you have turbulence on your part and it disturbs your gas flow, then it's pretty bad. So we're gonna take this piece of copper and like really try to get it super tight in that hole, so that way atmosphere or oxygen can't reach the part. And if it can't reach the part, it won't oxidize the part, or it won't sugar it up. So you can see when I do this, hopefully you can see it, there's gonna be like a moisture barrier or something on there. It's gonna kind of spread a little bit. Well, hopefully the light will get it just right and you'll be able to see it. There it goes. See how it's kind of spreading? That's the crap you want to get off of there. And you can see this thing's already smoking. Yeah, this is gonna be fun to weld. I have to unfortunately turn the fan off over there because it'll disturb the flow here, but it is 117 degrees out right now, so I'm not looking forward to that. Okay, so this is the Fronius Magic Wave. I'm gonna go to about 60 amps. That's just gonna be a guess. And the filler wire I'm using here is 309 stainless. I'm using 309 because I don't know what the exact composition of this stainless here is. So it's best just to use 309, better safe than sorry kind of thing. I'm gonna be pretty heavily relying on my foot pedal to get me through this job here. If you want to know all about a foot pedal and things like that, I just did a recent video on Weld Coach. I'll link it up if you want to kind of understand what I'm talking about when I mention the foot pedal and what it does and Everything else looks like I'll be able to get it. I think I'm gonna have to give myself a little bit more stick out to clear that clamp. But other than that, we should be good. Yeah, we're just gonna go for it. So I'm gonna start by working my way around the outer edge of the hole and then just try to blend it, get some more filler in there, and then just go toward the center of it. Oh, there we go. Oh man, you see how that's burning away already? Okay, so I'm gonna go extremely light on the amperage. I can't see the machine, but it's barely enough to melt this filler, and the filler diameter is 0.45. See, I'm just kind of blobbing it up on there. Now we'll hit that heavy and try to blend it later. For right now, if I just get it blobbed up and semi-blended around the outside, that's enough to build it. Wow. Okay, let's see if we can get it to blend a little bit. I'm just doing a little bit of kind of feathering my foot pedal. So I see that it starts to blend and it starts to combine a little bit, and I know that's usually just enough. And in some of these places I can see that it's blending through on the back, so we're good. All right, a little bit more amperage. See if we can get a bigger blob in there. This thing stinks. I don't know what this ominous glow is coming off of it. I have no idea. So, let's see if we can cross that. Okay, we got it to bridge. I'm going to go for this section right here, closest to you guys. Again, this is all in my foot. Let's see if I can get this to close. Just putting a bunch of filler in there, and I'm increasing amps as I need, and then watching it blend. When I say blend, I want it to kind of sink down and become like one cohesive unit. So around the toes of it, which the toes would be where it hits the base material, I want it to be smooth, not clumpy. I'm just kind of working this in circles here to make sure that it's all blended in, and we get up to the middle of it here, slowly come off. Now we're going to post flow. I'm going to let this sucker cool way off. There is a lot of smoke coming out of this, and unfortunately my face has been right in it. I should have put a respirator on. But if I did that, y'all wouldn't be able to hear me. That should be enough post flow. Okay. It's a good looking weld. See if I can try not to burn myself. Copper did its job. That's a little friggin' hot. Dang it. Okay, it's a little dark, but it's not sugared. And what we don't want is it to be sugared. It could be a little bit dark in color, that's okay, but if it starts to look like a granular mess, then that's a bad thing. I guess I didn't get a great seal around it, but again, a little bit of oxidation is fine, but super heavy sugar, bad. One down, one to go. Okay, so I had to let that last part kind of cool off a little bit so I could check the inside of it. I don't really like the amount of coverage I got. It's not fully sugared out, but it's pretty close. There's some pretty heavy oxidation on it. I suspect that it's because these parts are curved and I can't get a good seal on the back side of it. I can't get it to where the hole is. It's on a radius, so I can't get a perfect seal on the back side of it. So we're pumping about 5 or 10 CFH of argon here, and it's because I have a pretty big opening in the back here, which we're just gonna stuff it with a foil ball. And with any luck, this will help prevent some of that really heavy oxidation. I might not have grabbed enough foil. Put some of that there. Oh, come on. I know I'm gonna have to refocus my camera now. Okay, so while that fills up, let me double check the other camera real quick. because I kind of want this arc shot. Oh, we're still good. In focus. Okay. We're fired up. So the same story as the last one. We'll slowly build. Work our foot pedal. See these edges, they just want to just blow away. This stuff is really thin, very fatigued. And of course, I still don't know what all that glowing is. Haven't got a clue. There's probably some nasty thing floating around on the inside of it. Okay, we're worked around. We'll try to blend these together ever so delicately. And now let's put some filler in. Quite a bit of filler. Blend that. There we go. Okay. And again, working my way around those toes, making sure that they fully blend. Once I see that, I'm going to start working my way more central. A little bit more heat. Or amps, I should say, because amps is not heat. Back off. Let that post-flow cycle run. We'll double tap here because I know that my post-flow timer is only like 10 or 12 seconds or something. And that should be good. Okay. Shut the purge line off. I'm gonna have to use this again in a minute, so we'll just get that out of the way. Okay, I know that's hot. Moment of truth. Ah, see, there we go. That's a lot better. That's a lot better, but oh man, there's a lot of trash in there. Holy crap. You know, despite my best efforts of trying to clean it, there is a lot of garbage that floated into that pool. It looks a little better than the other one, which is good. So I'll probably stick the die grinder in there and try to smooth it a little bit so I can get a closer look on it, but yeah, there's a lot of garbage that went into there. I guess I didn't get it as clean as I thought, or maybe it's because the metal is very fatigued. Could be one or the other. So there's those two. Let's move on to the other piece. Okay, part number 2 here. I've already popped in some purge plugs into it so I can just kind of hurry up and get through this. It is so insanely hot outside, and as a result in here it's really hot too, so I don't want to rush this job, but pretty wild. You can see even though I've brightened it up, there's still a very heavy texture from the sandblasting. Always makes me nervous. Okay, so the downside is I don't have anything that's going to be able to reach all the way inside of there. So obviously I'm not going to be able to clean the inside of it, but I can clean the outside of it just the same. Get ourselves some acetone. I'm going to use this to try and chase out anything that might be hiding in there. Maybe give it a flush. With any luck, whatever's about hiding back there will pop itself out if there's any media or anything back there. Pretty sure it's for cooling. All right, let's pump some argon in. So my pre-purge on this one, I'm going to go for probably about 20 CFH for just a few minutes. That's while I cook out the outside. You can probably see a bunch of the sparks and stuff coming out of here. That's the garbage I don't want in my weld. If I go like this, you'll see a whole bunch of them flying off of there. It's the same as down in here. I'm seeing the same thing. Bunch of sparks and garbage. Got a couple of tack welds down on this. That'll kind of give me an idea of what's going on. Let's see if I can use this block to wedge this over. Unfortunately, I can't get these super close-up shots. Let's see how we burn. Okay, it tacks all right. Oh yeah, this is classic example. Sorry, I'm sure it sounded like I was yelling because my hood is down. Let's see if I can get this again. There's so much trash that just floated up there. There's a lot of garbage in this pool. This weld, I can tell you flat out, is not going to make it very long. I'll show you this close up in just a second. But let's get a few on here to compare it. This was probably the media used to blast this is probably sand, because it looks like some silica deposits are floating up into the weld. Oh yeah, we got little dots all over the place. We'll get a close up of this in just a minute. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that one, but something just popped at me. This is going to be a real pleasure. I do mean that facetiously. Okay, if we kind of look up close, you'll see these little dots. They're like little reflective kind of dots. They're surrounding, here, let's get a piece of filler on here. They're surrounding the pool, like right there, right there, right there, there. Let's see, this was the first one I put down. Look at all that garbage. I don't need to point those out. You can see those fly straight away. With the filler, they moved up a little more central. Yeah, so that's what I've got to contend with. A lot of them on there. So, yeah, we'll see if there's going to be some popping and sparking and all kinds of stuff. I don't even know if I can get an arc shot on this, but I'm going to try. Let me at least start with the bead to see where I am. I think I'm only going to go about maybe 15 dabs or so. If you recall, on the stainless exhaust job, I had a dab number, but on this piece, I can't like practice that. I can't just figure it out unless I start welding it. So let me try to get comfortable here, do a quick pass, and then I'll worry about setting up the camera for hopefully getting an arc shot. Maybe we'll get one, I don't know. This feels like a piece I'm gonna have to really concentrate on. Let's see what we get here. Oh, crap. It just blew out on me. Dang it. Yeah, I'll have to go back and address that one in a minute. Let's see if I can even get anywhere with this. I don't know if I can get the arc shot on this, but this metal is so friggin' fatigued that, I mean, it doesn't even flow, and there's a lot of trash in here. I'm gonna probably, I mean, I know I'm gonna have to fix that one, but this is some really messed up stuff here. And again, this is why I typically decline these jobs. Man, I kind of goobered up my tungsten a little bit on that blowout. Let's see if we can get an arc shot set up. All right, the camera's in kind of an awkward spot. I hope I don't knock it over. And I hope I get to see it well enough to not have my head in the way. So, here we go. Of course, I'm not going to sacrifice the quality of the weld for an arc shot, but you can see how kind of sludgy this stuff is. This section seems to be cooperating just a little bit better. But man, there's a lot of trash in there. Not sure how much of this you can see. This is just trashy. You know, maybe I'll just jackass my way through it and pulse over it when I'm done. You know, even the way that the colors are burning in on this one, this piece is so friggin' shot. I hope my camera, maybe it's still in focus, I have no idea. So I'm mainly focused on the old weld, or the existing weld, and I'm trying to get it to obviously melt down, but I want the whole bead profile to blend. I'm pretty sure my head's in the way right now, but I want the whole bead profile to blend onto the thinner material, so I'm focused more on the existing bead because it's thicker. Let's see if I can get all the way around. This thing smells so bad. And there is so much garbage in this pool. This is unreal. There's literally, like, it looks like a MIG weld because there's like silica pockets just finding their way up through it. Oh, that friggin' stinks. Look at it steaming and smoking out of it. It kind of smells like avgas. I don't know if that's even in focus. It's definitely not my concern. So yeah, it kind of smells like almost like avgas. I'm sure that's extra healthy to be breathing in. And right now I'm in kind of a crappy spot because I can't turn the fan on. God, I just want to get this thing repaired and be done with it. Forget good video quality. I'll show you all this stuff in B-roll footage. This pool just wanders all over the place. This metal is so fatigued. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm just kind of blending that last bit in there with the rest of it. It almost looks like it wants to undercut itself. Excuse me. This stuff smells really bad. Okay, I'm gonna put the purge line, just kind of tie it up here on the back. And I'm just gonna have it blow to the back side of that weld there. I mean, these little cooling pins are kind of convenient for a purge line. I'm gonna approach this just the same as I did with the, actually let's get some stick out going on here. I'm gonna approach this the same as I did with the filling in the holes. Start by working my way around and blending. Well, after I get another piece of tungsten, I will. I'm not even going to edit that out. Okay. Well, I must have done a crappy job on sharpening this. Arc start was all over the place. Okay. Concentrate, Justin. Don't get distracted. Blend. Okay, I'm just going to kind of run off into a tangent here and get this bead tied in real quick. That way it doesn't become a runaway later. Okay, we've got filler running around the entire edge here. So let's start to push some filler in. And this I'm just being very light, and I'm letting the filler kind of do its job by working its way through. This metal is so messed up. I wish I had a good piece to show you to compare it to. But of course, then again, this is also why I decline jobs like this. I know that this is going to happen. Oh man, all the crap that's floating around in there. This is insane. I know this is going to fail, so if the customer reports back and says it failed, well, I already told him before taking it on, and I'm saying here in this video, this thing is going to fail. I mean, even the color on it is just nonsense. So I'm going to show you these. They don't look pretty, and they're probably not going to hold. Okay, so let's take a look here. You see all the trash that's floating in there. Lots and lots of it, little bubbles, little things, and that's, like I mentioned before, the stuff that was probably caught on the back side of it, that blasting media. You can see a lot of it right here, just burned its way through and out of it. And again, I knew that was going to happen. It's been my experience that it does. If this bead looks kind of wide and a little funky, you can see where the existing bead that was there, that's where I blended it over here. Of course, you can see a lot of that trash. I terminated here, tapered off of it, but look, little bubble. Oh, I just realized my other camera's not on. Sorry, this is crap audio here. Screen fell out. Light. Yeah, okay, that's a lot of garbage. Alright, this phone doesn't like to focus very well. Now, it is colorless, and that smoke that's coming out, man, that stuff. There's no color on there, but you can see there's a lot of garbage floating into it. Not to be confused with the piece that's next to it. That's that plug weld that the previous welder did. So a lot of garbage, but it's full pen, it should hold. Okay, so I haven't reviewed the footage. I have no idea if I was even able to demonstrate how much of a struggle this job is. And all of the things I called out in the beginning were definitely a problem as I was going through it. So the media blasting, the fatigue of the metal, all of it being heat cycled. You saw how much effort it took to clean and prep these to get them back to bright metal to become welded. There were layers of oxidation on this part. You know, these are all things in my experience I know to walk away from or to decline. And of course, that's why I'm not doing any other portion of the job that they requested that I do. I'm just doing this. And I did express in the beginning when the customer dropped these parts off, I said, this weld is going to fail. So I'm not expecting it to hold. I'm pretty sure he's not expecting it to hold. You can see all the garbage that's floating around inside of it, like I called out before, despite my best efforts to prep. Yeah, it's kind of a lost cause at this point. I know these parts are virtually irreplaceable, but you can kind of understand, hopefully, reasons why you would want to decline a job. So I hope this information helps out, and I can't wait to bring you some more really exciting things on TFS, which is what I'm going to go tell you about. Whew. It is somewhere between 117 and 120 degrees across the valley here in Vegas, and that side of the warehouse has no friggin' AC in it, and my throat is on fire after welding that thing. I feel like I just ate a bunch of sand. God, it hurts. I should have worn a respirator, but you wouldn't have had the perfect audio that we had there. But anyway, a couple of big announcements here. I'm going to make actual dedicated videos to this, but I'll just tell you guys, since you're like the die-hard fans here, again, forgive my voice, but classes are coming back, sort of, in a way. I'm aiming the classes more toward the fabrication side of things, not necessarily just strictly welding on coupons. If you want to learn how to weld, that is now weldcoach.com. So that's a live training platform, okay? So the person on the other end of your device is a real life instructor. It's the exact same as being in person, as in somebody is there talking to you, walking you through it, and can see what you do, but they're just not physically standing there. So it's literally the exact same thing, and you get to learn at your own pace, at your own time, in your own home or whatever, right? We will have some welding classes coming back here, but the biggest thing, I just dumped like 40 friggin' grand on new machines that we can use to train you guys for the fabrication side of things. So we're gonna build and have classes on building specific things that are for the automotive performance fabrication world and other areas of the industry, things that people actually want to know, not just how to stick welding coupons together. So that's the big thing, is classes are coming back. And of course, like I mentioned, we'll have some welding workshops and stuff in there at some point in time too, but that's the huge thing. Number two, I'm hiring now. So I need a welding fab instructor. I'll get to the details of that one. I hate to, be so blunt about it, but you got to be the right person to be an instructor here at TFS. You got to have a good personality. You got to have a diverse profile in your welding skills. So you can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm good at stick welding and I can teach anybody that. Well, you got to be able to aluminum TIG, steel TIG, stainless TIG, maybe titanium TIG. You got to have a decent amount of fabrication skills and experience in it, more geared toward the automotive performance fabrication world. And again, you got to be a really cool dude, right? So you can't be like a hard ass or something and be like, yeah, I'll just tell people this is how I do it and they'll just keep going until whatever. It pays well, it is part-time, but it's a good gig. It's just, you got to be the right person for it. The second thing I'm hiring for, I'm finally at the point in my career here that I can afford a full-time editor videographer. So if you are local to Vegas, you're familiar with DaVinci Resolve. We primarily shoot with Sony cameras. And I mean, geez, we got like 9 or 10 different cameras that we use here. But if you are looking for full-time videographer, editor type of work, and if you're somewhat geared toward the performance fabrication industry, automotive performance fab and welding, that's a plus one. I don't care about your sizzle reels and stuff you can put together with, stock footage and B-roll stuff. I want somebody who's got that kind of personality, that drive, that want, that will. It's a full-time gig, pays pretty good from my understanding of talking with people in the industry, and there's bonuses, so sponsor bonus, stuff like that. Now, I'm going to do full-on video breakdowns of all of this stuff to make a more formal announcement, and I'll have everything posted. But for you guys that are like diehard fans that might fit the bill, reach out to me. Maybe you're it. Maybe you're the right person. So, of course, these do require experience. I'm not looking to train anybody on this stuff, like from diddly squat. So if you're not the right person, and you're not the right person, then you're not the right person. So yeah, those are the two biggest things. Huge, and I gotta say, I am super glad and thankful that all of you guys have stuck around as far as you can, and you've been extremely patient with me throughout all of this, because I mean, building up Weld Metals, building up Weld Coach, building up TFS, obviously TFS has taken the hit because the other two companies, they require more of my attention, and we're finally to that point where we're stabilized and we're good, and I can get back onto TFS, actually building stuff, actually showing you guys the things that I've always wanted to know or wanted to teach to everybody. So I can't wait to get back into the swing of things like that, and I can't thank you guys enough for all of your support throughout the years. And the biggest thing of a sneak peek before my voice is totally friggin' gone here, I'm trying to create an actual vocational school, a trade school for welding and fabrication in the automotive performance fabrication game. That's what my whole goal has been this entire time, and now we're one step closer to it. So thank you guys as always. I'm so pumped to get back into the game, and I'll see you all on the next episode. Hopefully I've got a voice that's not full of 70-year-old avgas, because holy
Callous the friggin'. Oh. Bye.